Hi guys, it's James again, back with another video. The last one in my backlog of older lists that I finally got to go through. Yay! And so, this is probably another one of the ones that I probably should have done first, being not a combination of genres or anything. This is just straight up top 10 comedies. But I left it till now, so here it is. Hope you like it. Number 10, we have a film from 1993 called The Opposite Sex and How to Live with Them. And this one I remember taping off TV. I think I watched it with my older brother. And it stars Air Gross, Courtney Cox, and Kevin Pollak primarily. And it's pretty much Air Gross meets Courtney Cox at a bar and falls in love with her, but she doesn't want anything to do with him, but then later finds him interesting, so they start dating, and the friends, played by Kevin Pollak and Julie Brown, occasionally throughout the movie comment on, and they'll be like standing in a room standing on a black background talking to the screen. And Kevin Pollak is the real hilarious part of this movie. Just a lot of the monologues he does to the audience are just gold, comedy gold. And Air Gross, I've always liked Air Gross as an actor. And Courtney Cox, what's this, 1993, so this is back probably in her, I think this is pre-Ace Ventura, I believe. But post Bruce Springsteen video. And yeah, it's been a really hard one to find. It's not easy to find out there. Whether it's lack of popularity, I don't know. Some movies get released on DVD and VHS and stuff, and some don't. I might have this one on VHS. I know I have it still taped off TV, but it's a fun one. I think you can find it online somewhere. So that's The Opposite Sex and How to Live with Them. Number 9, we have a film from 1986 called Armed and Dangerous. And this one stars John Candy and Eugene Levy. And I haven't seen this one in decades because I've never seen it anywhere. VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, anywhere. I watched it several times on TV, and I think it was whether we rented it decades ago on VHS or we just taped it off TV again. And it's pretty much John Candy plays a cop who gets framed for a theft and kicked off the force, and Eugene Levy is a lawyer who gets, I think, disbarred, and they both end up applying for work at this the security guard job. I think guarding a junkyard, I believe, or something. And excuse me if the details are a little fuzzy. It's like I said, it's been decades since I watched it, but I'd say in kind of like the heyday of Eugene Levy and John Candy, both both veterans of SCTV that transitioned into movies and stuff. And it's a hilarious movie. It's, if you can find it. I haven't been able to. Maybe you can. Again, it might be online, but I haven't been able to find it anywhere else. And with it, what happens is they turns out that the union that they're working for ends up being corrupt, and they witness a robbery, and hijinks ensue. So that was Armed and Dangerous. Number 8, we have a film from 2009 called I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell. And this is based on the book I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell by Tucker Max. And he's a guy who started writing online blogs and stuff, and then transitioned into releasing them as books of his infamous days at law school and like wild drunken road trips, and like sex and drugs and alcohol and like all these wild stories. And the stories, they're true. He changes the names and uses nicknames and stuff to protect his friends. But these are probably the wildest stories you've ever heard, and some of the most entertaining. And he has several books out there He has I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell, Hilarity Ensues, I think it was Assholes Finish First. There might be another one. I have all of them. And they ended up adapting the first book into a movie. And Tucker Max actually cameos as the best man at a wedding. The thing is about friends, that one of the friends is getting married soon. And so Tucker Max, played by, I think, Jeff Stutz. That's the only no, Matt Zurtry, I think, plays Tucker Max. And this, I think this is the only thing I've seen him in. Jesse Bradford is in there. Jeff Stutz, Marika Dominzik, Tracy Lords is in there. And Tucker basically takes his friends. I think they're searching for this legendary strip club a few hours away. And one of the friends ends up falling in love, or getting into a relationship with one of the strippers there, and just a whole bunch of crazy stuff happens. It's more notable for me because when they're in one of the bars, Tucker ends up talking to this group of bridesmaids, and they all find him hilarious and stuff except for one, and I think she's the one who's I don't know if she's the least attractive out of the group, so she finds him offensive and wants all her friends to find him offensive and stuff. So he ends up giving a toast, a pretty vulgar toast, but I was the best man at my best friend Bevan's wedding, and I ended up paraphrasing the toast he did and making it far more appropriate for public speaking. To toast my best friend Bevan and his wife Jen, or soon-to-be wife, because they just got married. And I wish someone had videoed it, because usually with the two best man speeches I've given, I remember they're very off the cuff and I remember very little, but I'd written down the speech and I had a great time. And the movie tanked, but I still think it's pretty funny, mainly because of Matt Zurtry. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but the guy who plays Tucker Max in the movie, I thought he did a fantastic job. So that is I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell. Number 7, we have a film from 1987 called Real Men. I saw this a long time ago, and I ended up watching it not too long ago again because I found the DVD. And it stars John Ritter and Jim Belushi. And it's pretty much aliens come to Earth. This company dumps this harmful chemical into the water supply, and these aliens come to Earth and they're offering a solution: the big gun or the good package. And the big gun is obviously a large weapon, and the good package is a way to instantly solve the poisonous chemical problem and save the world. The other one could probably destroy the world. And there's a CIA agent played by John Ritter who goes to meet with them and gets killed by an unseen assassin. And so government special agent played by James Belushi goes to recruit this insurance agent played by John Ritter also, who happens to look identical to the killed CIA agent. And they couldn't be more opposites, and he has to recruit him and sort of toughen him up and train him to get ready to meet these aliens to save the world. And it's James Belushi is hilarious, and John Ritter is always hilarious. Just the way these two, it's a very screwball kind of comedy. Yeah, and it's awesome. So that is Real Men. Number 6, we have a film from 2000 called The Specials. And this is sort of a low-budget superhero comedy. And I say low-budget in that it's a team of superheroes, but you never actually see, and they talk about all these powers they have, all these unique individual powers, but you never actually see any of the powers being used. So you don't have to spend any money on special effects or green screen or anything like that. So they're always just, their abilities are always just talked about, and they're kind of wacky abilities. It was written by James Gunn and directed by Craig Mazin. But you've got Thomas Hayden Church, James Gunn is in there, Rob Lowe, Jamie Kennedy, Judy Greer, Sean Gunn, Padgett Brewster, Jordan Ladd, and it's pretty funny. Mostly, I think, because of Thomas Hayden Church. He plays a character called the Strobe, and he can like fire beams of light or powerful beams from his hands and stuff. But he's very full of himself. And you got Rob Lowe, who plays the Weevil, and he thinks he's too good for the group, so he's trying to join another super higher profile superhero group, an elite group. And that's essentially what it is. And it's a superhero team that not a lot of people know or care about, and they're trying to prove themselves. But it's pretty funny the way everything turns out. Because you've got, let's see, yeah, the Strobe, Padgett Brewster is Miss Indestructible, James Gunn is the Minuteman. He can shrink no, he's not the Minuteman, he's the Minute Man. He can shrink himself to very small. Rob Lowe is the Weevil. Apparently, he has abilities proportionate to an insect or something, but again, you never see them. You have Power Chick, change her body into any material. You have Doug, who is the alien orphan, who's basically an alien who crash landed on Earth, and that's what he is. And he can shapeshift, apparently. You have Deadly Girl, who can enter the world of the dead, apparently. You have Mr. Smart, a man claiming to be the smartest man on Earth, but I think he acts like a complete idiot in the movie. Jamie Kennedy is Amok, a former supervillain who can manipulate antimatter. It's just, they're very weird abilities, and that's why they're not very popular. Anyway, The Specials. An early film from James Gunn, before he became a director. Number 5, we have a film from 2001 called Out Cold. And this is very much in the vein of Ski Patrol, Ski School, maybe part of Hot Tub Time Machine, the first one, because it's all these ski instructors that work at this resort at this place called Bull Mountain. Bull Mountain is the location. It's a big ski mountain, and you get Lee Majors coming in, trying to buy the place and turn it into a very upscale Aspen kind of, or Vermont kind of resort. And all the people who live there and work there want it to be, it was the guy who founded Bull Mountain and the resort was Papa Munson, and his son is running it now, and his son wants to sell to Lee Majors. Excuse me. So it's them it's the locals against the big corporate people. But by far, I think my favorite ski comedy, not my favorite ski movie, that would be Aspen Extreme. This is my favorite ski comedy. Because you've got, seen as it's from like almost 20 years ago, you have a lot of actors that are well known now, but not as much back then. Because you have Zach Galifianakis in there, David Koechner, David Denman, Carolyn Daverness, great Canadian actress. You have Jason London, AJ Cook, as I said, Lee Majors, Willie Garson, Thomas Lennon is there, Victoria Silvstedt cameos in there, Louis Arquette, and yeah, that's essentially it. But yeah, it's a funny movie. I remember I'd seen the preview several times working at Rogers, and then I took it home and watched it, loved it. And then when I got the DVD previously viewed, I've watched it several times over the years. It's hilarious. Out Cold. Number 4, we have a film from 2011 called A Good Old-Fashioned Orgy. And I remember hearing the title, and just hearing the title and the cast that were in it, I wanted to see it. I heard it was really funny, and it is. It's a great movie, wonderful movie. Stars Jason Sudeikis, Leslie Bibb, Lake Bell, Nick Kroll, Tyler Labine, Angela Serafian, Lindsay Sloan, Martin Starr, Lucy Punch, Will Forte, and it's pretty much like one of the friends gets married and has been married for a little while, and the rest of the friends don't really have any relationships, solid relationships, and they need something to make their lives more fun. And so Tyler Labine and Jason Sudeikis come up with the idea that they should all get together and have an orgy. And so they set about planning this orgy just among these friends. And Jason Sudeikis at the time is kind of trying to get involved with Leslie Bibb, but still going to attend this orgy. And it's hilarious. Just all the friends in the movie work really well together. It's a great cast, very well written, and just a hilarious movie. Highly, highly recommended. A good old-fashioned orgy. Number 3, we have probably my favorite college movie of all time, and it's from 1994. It's called PCU. Another one I saw with my older brother. I think he rented it for us years ago. And it's basically, it's Port Chester University, but the whole movie is about things that are politically correct. And you've got Chris Young, who's visiting the college to see if he wants to join there. And the guy who's tasked with leading him around is Jeremy Piven, plays Draws. And he's trying to get him hip to all the lingo and the way things are at this university. And it's like, everything's PC. You have to get all this traditional stuff out of your brain. That's not how the world works anymore, at least not in this college. Because you have several different factions. You have like the cause heads who are like, get behind these life-saving causes temporarily. And you have the womanists, sort of like a knock on feminists. You have the sort of like this militant black group. You have the geeks. You have sports people, and it's just an awesome cast. It's Jeremy Piven, Chris Young, Alex Desert, Jon Favreau. Very early movie from Jon Favreau. Plays Gutter. Got Megan Ward, Matt Ross, David Spade. Another early movie from him. Jake Busey as one of the hippies. That's another group in there. Jessica Walter is in there. George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic cameo as themselves. And yeah, it's him spending just a weekend at this college and getting into all sorts of trouble. I think he ended up getting almost the entire cast, campus pissed off at him by the end of the weekend, but he has an amazing time. And you will too if you watch this movie. PCU. Number 2, we have a film from 1996 called Hollow Point. And this one I had seen previews for on Movie Network and ended up watching it and snatched up the VHS the second I found it, snatched up the DVD the second I found it. And it stars Thomas Ian Griffith, John Lithgow, and Tia Carrere, and Donald Sutherland was the prime cast. And Tia Carrere is an FBI agent trying to take down this Russian mobster by pretending to marry his son and then arresting him. And John Lithgow is another crime boss trying to reunite all the families, the Italians, the Chinese, and the Russians. And Donald Sutherland plays a legendary hitman who kills Tia Carrere's partner on orders from John Lithgow. And he's very off the wall and hates John Lithgow because something that happened back when they were in the military. And he ends up getting apprehended by Tia Carrere, and Thomas Ian Griffith is a former DEA agent who's also trying to take down these guys to get his job back and the job he wants back. He was injured years ago. And just the interaction between Tia Carrere, Thomas Ian Griffith, and Donald Sutherland is amazing. And John Lithgow is just playing a very over-the-top gangster who's trying to get them, they're trying to get him. It's awesome. Just an amazing movie. I think it was directed by Sidney Furie. And yeah, okay, so that was Hollow Point. Had I done an action comedy, it would have been at the top. Let's see, so number 1, we have a film from 1950. It is called Harvey. And this one was recommended to me by a former coworker of mine, John, who told me about this movie. I had never heard of it. And it's a Jimmy Stewart movie. And they remade it for TV years later in color. This one's black and white. And apparently that is the preferred performance that Jimmy Stewart liked. I haven't seen it, but this movie, if I ever became an actor, it would be because of this movie, just because his performance. And essentially he plays Elwood P. Dowd, and he's just a very charming, friendly guy, in love with the world, in love with everything in the world, and lives with a very eccentric character, and lives with his sister, and he believes that he has a best friend, and it is the imaginary, invisible, like 6 foot, what is 6 foot 3.5 inch rabbit, who's called a puka, and his name is Harvey. And no one believes he's real. They all think Elwood's crazy, and they want to have him committed. And the places this movie goes is just amazing. The interaction, every word out of Jimmy Stewart's mouth in this movie is gold. Just in an enchanting, completely enchanting performance. And apparently the woman who plays his sister, I think she won an Academy Award. Josephine Hull plays Vida Louise Dow Simmons, his sister. And she, I believe, won an Academy Award for her performance in this film. I thought Jimmy Stewart would have won an Academy Award for this for sure, but I don't believe he did. And the supporting cast is great too, but just, oh man, it's such a well-written movie. Never gets old. Never gets old. Everything about this movie is beautiful. By far my favorite black and white film I've ever seen. Not that I've seen that many, but my favorite black and white old film, classic old film. So that was Harvey. Okay, finally got it out of the way. I thank you very much for watching it. Now on to some fresh ones. Gotta make a whole new fresh list of lists. All right, so like and subscribe, and toodles.